I was not planning on making this video, but I feel like it's necessary now because of everything that's just been transpiring. So, as a quick update, because I was gonna post this other video, but I ended up not posting it. But last week, on Monday, I was able, or this past week, today's Saturday, I was able to sell a few of my electronic items that I had, and pawn some jewelry that I no longer wanted, and I was able to scrape up enough money to get me a room for a couple of nights, and put some gas in my car and have a little bit of money for food so that I could spend some time with my baby, and so that we had a safe place to stay. Now, the hotel that we stayed at was not great, but it was safe. We slept well, we had food, we were okay. But after that, I'm out of money, I'm out of ideas. I think right now I got maybe about like $8 in my bank account. Right now I'm sitting in a Walmart parking lot with my Kippy. It's just been really strange since Thursday. It's just been really strange. By the grace of God, I was able to put a full tank of gas in my car by overdrafting one of my accounts. I don't know why that card kept taking, but I think it's done now, which is okay. I don't need to be racking up no more debt. But I was able to fill up the tank, which was beneficial because Thursday we had a heat advisory and it was like 102 outside. And being in the car all day, we needed the air, so it definitely came in handy. Yesterday I went to a park and I was able to use the bathroom there. I kind of washed myself a little bit because I got there kind of early before most people got there. I got there around like 7:30, 8 o'clock, so it was like right before most people would start coming up into a park, and so I was able to have a little bit of privacy, clean myself up a little bit, and do my thing. And I've been trying. I'm sorry, y'all. I've been trying to just figure this out, like all of this, because I just don't understand like why all of this is happening. Because it's like, for those of you that have been like watching some of my videos over the last few months, that like I was going from hotel to hotel to hotel to hotel, and the reason for that was because of the gang stalking. I had and I'm not really, I can't tell y'all, I'm not even completely sure. Oh, bless you. I can't really tell y'all, like, I think whoever the people are that were behind my enemies, that are my bigger enemies, are very powerful people, and they really, I don't know how they were getting ahead of me, how they were able to set up telling people where I was going and telling people like, oh, she's here, like go see, like I don't understand how any of this stuff works. I don't really understand like how deep this stuff goes. But when I tell y'all that these people went very far to destroy me, they went very far. I'm grateful at least right now that I have my car, but I'm really sad because me being in my car means that I don't get to be with my daughter. And poor Tori, I've been trying to find a humane society or a rescue to take her to, but I haven't gotten any real answers or responses. Plus, the one place that did actually call me back told me that I had to be a resident of the area and that it was going to be like a fee. And I was like, I mean, that's the reason why I'm surrendering her, because I'm out of, I'm out of my original area right now, so I can't can't do that. um and I'll say it hasn't been like completely terrible in the car, but it's just like it's uncomfortable. For the first night I tried to sleep in the back seat like I did the last time, and I just could not. It was very uncomfortable, like, having to scrunch up my legs and all of that. So I've opted lately to just sleeping in the front seat, and that's been a little bit better. um but I was just thinking about how, like, your enemies want to destroy you so badly that they're willing to do anything. And that's why I'm saying, like, I don't really understand how these people were able to get ahead of me, how they were able to, like, there's got to be some sort of advanced technology that they have access to. And the reason why I say that is you got to believe that the elites have they have more access than we do. And of course they don't want everybody knowing the stuff that they doing and what they got. I was just watching a video that Perky was doing a couple of weeks ago, and there's a video of 2 Chainz at like a Tesla robot party or whatever, and he was telling the robot that he was like, I'm gonna come back and purchase you. And so, like, that's something that's actually happening right now. So it's like, if Elon Musk has created a robot that kind of like, this is the Jetsons, a robot that's a housekeeper that's going to help you around your house and stuff like that. Of course, then these people have advanced technology to where they'll be able to track you and do different stuff no matter where you are, what you do. And this is me after changing my number. I threw my phone away, my iPhone. Like, I threw it away. I didn't sell it. I didn't shut it off. I threw it away with my Apple Watch and my AirPods. I threw all of those away together at the same time. And they still were able to track me. So I don't know how they were able to do that. But like I said, it's got to be some sort of advanced technology. And on top of that, it's like these people also have worked with, like, my ex and his family and my family. It's like they're all working together. Like, this is a really big group of people that have infiltrated on my life. And the crazy part about all of this is that I never wanted any of this. Like, when you are a part of toxic systems and toxic families and around toxic people, you leaving that dynamic is detrimental to them because they can't hold up their mask anymore without you. When people scapegoat you, when they make you the villain in their story, you suffer. You suffer. This is one of the hardest things that I have ever been through in my life. And, the hotel situation wasn't as bad, at least in my opinion, because, all of those times I had access to the internet. I had food, I had water, I was able to, drink pop and go to Chick-fil-A, and I didn't do that as much towards the end because I was like, okay, I got to try to preserve my money and stuff like that. I was a lot more strategic. But, it's like, it wasn't all bad because I did have some freedoms, taking my baby to the park and watching her play and swinging on the swings, having fun with her. Like, those things, like, those are the things I cherished about that time period. But getting to the end of this and now, like, having nothing and not knowing what the future holds, like, there is an immense amount of uncertainty over my life right now that makes me very uncomfortable. Because you gotta understand, like, I worked really hard, okay? I worked really hard. This wasn't, it's not easy when you're being persecuted, when you're being lied on, and when you're being isolated, and when you're being portrayed to the rest of the world as like, when I tell you guys that this entire community, they turned the entire city against me, and I don't even know what was said about me. No one would come to me and tell me what I did or what I said to a person. People just all looked at me like I was just the scum of the earth. And somebody right now probably believes that I deserve this, even though nothing that they heard about me is true. And this makes me sad, because it's like, I didn't do anything to deserve this. You know, I was just I had went to a day center in Detroit this morning. Shout out to them. They're open Monday through Saturday, and they offer like food. They have breakfast, and then they, like an hour or so later, they give you like a lunch, which is really awesome. They have like coffee and water and stuff, and they have like you can take a shower. I was able to go in there and take a shower this morning. They had a medical personnel come in to help some of the people that were coming in. They have a laundry service. You know, you can brush your teeth. You can do, you know, they have like personal hygiene stuff. Like, so it's a really nice place that helps a lot of the people in the community out there. And I could tell because when I pulled up about 10 minutes before they opened, and there were already people sitting outside the doors waiting to go in. Because I think for a lot of those people, like, that's the only food that they gonna get for the day. And I know that some of the people that I encountered today, like, they slept on the streets last night. And that's why, you know, even in the midst of all of this, I try to be very grateful about the fact that at least I have my car. I mean, it may not be the most comfortable thing, but, you know, at least I have my car. Even though I don't have a lot of gas left in it, even though, you know, I don't know where I'm gonna go, or I don't know anything right now. I don't know how anything is going to work out. But the guy that helped me, the director, Ben, he gave me, he was very nice. He gave me $10. He was like, this has been sitting in my desk for a year. He was like, I usually want to give these guys, and he was talking about the rest of the people who come. He's like, I usually want to do this for those other people. He's like, but he was like, you're different. And this is how you know that you are different. This is how you know that you're different, because, you know, like, they were looking at me like, because he was like, have you been here before? I'm like, no. Like, he let me go into a separate room upstairs, and like, I was doing job applications and stuff like that, because I was like, at this point, you know, I'm not saying that I don't know how to say this without sounding like I'm giving up on God, but like, God told me that me working a 9-to-5 was not gonna work for me, and I believed him. But it's like, right now, like I said, there's so much uncertainty right now. I was like, well, it doesn't hurt to put in some job applications, especially like for some stuff that's kind of flexible, you know, because it's like, if I can get to a point where it's like, I can either park not that far away and, you know, do what I was doing before while I'm waiting to get paid or whatever, and, you know, I could figure, listen to me, I'm willing to work my ass off to get back to what I was doing before. I don't care if that means I have to climb from the bottom. I don't mind working, although it's like, at this point in my life, I know how draining that shit's going to be for me. But it's like, if that's what I have to do, which I'm not giving up on my business either. Like, I still want to do my coaching stuff, and if I have when I have the capacity, when I have the resources to do that, my services will be available. I mean, my Calendly is still up, but, you know, as of right now, if anybody wanted to book any services with me, I would not recommend it, just because of all of the uncertainty in my life. But I'm not giving up on myself, because like I said, like there were so many people who came up against me to make this happen in my life. And I keep asking God, like, what is this? Like, why do I have to keep going through all of this stuff? Because, you know, like the hotel stays were cool, but it was not fun. Like, I never really talked about some of the stuff that was really going on, like, or what I had discerned. Because if I start talking about some of that stuff, people will definitely start trying to call me crazy and say that like I'm tripping, or you know, like, oh, this one, you know, needs to go to the mental ward or whatever the case may be. Because those people were like, and that's what I'm saying, like these people lied about me so much that they really had, like, a lot of these people, like the staff in these hotels had these people truly believing that I was like a terrible person, and that I needed to get like, I needed to be like, I needed to be handled or something. But it's like I stay to myself. It's like I be knowing what's going on, but I don't say anything, because it's just like, well, that's y'all. Just like, you know, any other time, like at that job, like I knew what them people was doing, but I didn't go yelling it to the rooftops about them racketeering. That's a whole RICO charge. Them people, I know that them people in for a world of hurt. It's a RICO going on with them folks. The way that they were doing the money, because every time the big bosses came in asking questions, they all was ducking and dodging. Now everybody's going on PTO for a week all of a sudden. Oh, I'm sick, I can't come in, and you know, trying to hide numbers and things of that nature. Like, they was racketeering, and they did some stuff in our Mexico office, and then fired a whole bunch of people saying like, oh, well, they were they blamed the Mexico team for the stuff that they told them to do. They put them under the bus and fired a whole bunch of people that probably didn't deserve it. Yes, they may have participated in it, but they were doing what they were told to do. They claimed like, oh, they were taking money under the table to put carriers on certain loads and stuff like that. I'm like, how does that even make sense? That didn't even make sense to me, that they were able to do that, because I'm like, that don't, I was like, something's off about that. I was like, them folks must have been told to do that. But yeah, I've been mistreated a lot, and this is just very unfortunate. Because I miss my daughter. And I'm sad because, you know, our last time together was shorter than usual because I missed a day with her, because you know, it was Sunday and I couldn't really do anything. I couldn't make the move I wanted to make. But it's all right. The good thing about that was that I was able to do the laundry, and I was able to wash her favorite dress. I was able to, you know, I was grateful. I mean, like I said, that hotel room was terrible. It was gross. They were a roach infested type of hotel. Like, you could tell like the owners really didn't care about that place. And if you go look at the pictures online, it's such a racket. Like, they make it look nicer than what it is. I was like, these pictures must have been taken when this place first opened years ago, but it ain't like that. And then I went and looked at some of the reviews, and some of the previous patrons talked about bed bugs, and I was like, oh, I didn't have that problem. So I thank God for that, because I had that issue back in college, and that would have just made that situation a lot worse. But I will say this, because I did put this in the video that I recorded, but I didn't post it. But on Wednesday night, after I dropped off my daughter, I was sitting in a parking lot for a while, just letting my car rest, because, you know, it was really hot. My car has shook the entire way there. Now, mind you, Ben, the guy, the director of that place that I was at today, helped. He popped my hood and looked at my car and told me that my coolant was fine. So I don't know why my car is overheating. I don't know what happened or what was done to it that will cause this issue. Sorry, because I've been outside, I've had like a lot of mosquito bites and stuff. It's just really terrible. So I don't know why it's overheating and why it's acting like that, but it's something that them people did. They did something to my car. I don't know what the problem is. I'm not sure. But I was letting it rest, and then when I was ready to go, I took off, and it took me in a different direction than it usually took me. It took me down Michigan Avenue in Ypsi, which was the road that my former apartment complex was on. And I never told this story, so I'm gonna just briefly tell you guys. So that apartment complex, they were a part of this whole operation. They were doing stuff, harassing me and all of that too, on top of me. Like, I was being harassed at my apartment, I was being harassed at work, I was being harassed at my daughter's daycare. Like, I was being harassed everywhere I went. I even had to stop going to the Meijer up there in Ypsi because the staff were like really weird towards me too. They had been doing little stuff towards me for like a long time, like, because that's what these people do, y'all. They do little underhanded things, like little undetectable things that other people won't really notice. That it's kind of like dog whistling, where it's like, what's going on and they know what's going on, but the people on the outside can't see it. It's kind of like that. And they would do weird little stuff towards me, like they would come in my apartment while I was gone, like while I was at work, and they would like close doors, or they would like take stuff out of my dryer and put it on the floor, or put like clothing items outside of my house, like my daughter's socks or something like that, something small, just to make me react and to make me accuse them of coming in my apartment. But because there's no proof of it, and that's what I knew in the beginning, I was like, well, I don't have any like video evidence of these people coming in here, so me accusing them of doing so is not going to do me any justice, especially because with the racial aspect of it, like, they not gonna believe the little black girl that's claiming that the nice little old white lady is doing that to her. They're not gonna believe that, and that's just period. Like, we can sit here and play semantics all day, but that's always gonna play a factor in what the police believe. So, and it doesn't matter how calm I am, how coherent I am, because they would just be like, well, ma'am, are you sure? Like, maybe you did that. Like, nah, I don't see why they would have a reason to do that. Like, so they wouldn't believe me. And it's like, the more you complain, the crazier you look, and that's what they want. And that's why I stayed silent, because I was like, I see what's going on, but I don't have any leverage. But either way, so they had been doing all this stuff for a long time. They kept doing the same stuff over and over and over again, hoping it would phase me. And I was just like, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. It's like, I can't control it, so I just let it be. And one day in the end of November, so like right around Thanksgiving time, the apartment building that was right across the parking lot from mine, they started tearing stuff off of it, like the boards, the baseboards. They put like the paper, the construction paper stuff on the outside of it. And I'm just watching, day after day. They brought one of the big industrial dumpsters, and put it right in one of the parking spots I used to park in. So I was like, so clearly they doing that on purpose, whatever. And so over time, I'm watching them do this construction to this building. Like, I saw them put new doors on, new windows, and all it is. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, what are they doing to this building? After my car got repossessed and I was just, at home and I had nothing else to do, I was able to watch them like pull the insulation out. And mind you, that the insulation in that building was very old, and you could tell, which led me to believe that the rest of the insulation in all the other buildings was also old. So by the end of December, so like right after Christmas, they finally finished the construction of this. And it's a brand new setup. It looks nothing, this building looks nothing like the rest of the complex. And when they were putting it up, and I watched them put up like the whole thing. I watched them do it. And I was like, please tell me that this wasn't for me. Did they do this because they thought that this was gonna do something for me? Like, is that what they were doing? And I realized, yes, because after the day after that, and there was silence from me where I didn't say or do anything, they moved over to the next building and started ripping the insulation out of there. And like a group of people came and they were sitting, like, well, I won't say sitting, but they were standing in the lawn, and they were like looking towards my apartment, like sending me the evil eye. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, what are these people, like, what is their goal? And I was like, this is real life crazy when you think about it. Because I'm like, how is it that y'all justify putting up this construction on this building? And the main culprit, like the main maintenance man that was doing a lot of the harassment towards me, all of a sudden disappeared. At one point, his truck stopped working, which I feel like it was part of his karma, like setting in, where his truck, I think his starter went out or something, or he was running, I don't know. He might have been in trouble, because for a couple days he was coming to work in like he had a Chevy Silverado type of truck, and then one day he just comes to work in like this cheap, I won't say cheap, this little Pontiac car, like, and I'm like, that's weird. And then the next day he never came back. And the other maintenance guy, Dwayne, he had left a couple weeks prior, like right around Thanksgiving time. He had quit, and I think it's because he was like, he knew it was going too far, because that's when they started the construction on that building across the way from me. Like, he knew that this was going too far, and he was like, okay, this, like, he tried to jump ship, and he even came to my door and he gave me some blinds, some new blinds, because mine were all fucked up at the time. But yeah, so I don't know what these people said and how they justified the reason why they did the construction on this building, and they tried to pin it on me. But when I went past the complex, which I didn't go in, but Spirit just told me to look up at it, to just look and see, the whole complex, or at least the front of the complex, is getting a facelift right now. And because, like, think about it, how, like, at any apartment complex, if you do construction on any of your buildings, on any of your units, you would do the construction on the units that are in the front of the complex, or toward the entrance or entrances, depending on where you live. You would do the construction on the entrance, and there's only one way in and one way out of that complex, so it's on the entrance. And you can't see that building from the entrance at all. So it's like, at some point, it's like, while you was worried about me, thinking that was going to make me jealous, you thought that was going to make me crash out, you thought that was going to make me, ask, like, well, why am I not getting that? I already knew why I wasn't getting it. You were doing it to try to make me jealous. And it's like, but you got, and the way that I saw it logically was like, there's a whole group. There's a whole complex of other people who are having to look at this every day. God forbid there be, people from the front of the complex coming to the back for whatever reason, say they're going for a walk or something like that, and they see the building, and then what are they gonna think? They're gonna be like, my building doesn't look like this. And they're gonna ask, why is this the only building that looks like this? And see, this is the stuff I'm talking about, where these people be doing stuff just because they think that they will lose the war to win the battle. They did that in hopes that I was going to crash out. And then I didn't, because I was like, this is ridiculous. What am I crashing out for? Oh, I didn't get the new building. Oh, I didn't get new insulation. I already know why I'm not getting new insulation. So what am I complaining for? You're not putting insulation on the other buildings over here. You're not doing revamp on my neighbors over here aren't getting a new building. So I'm not alone. I'm not singling myself out. But it's clear that you're the one that has a problem with me. And I don't know how they justified that in the beginning. And then she got new maintenance guys, and she turned them completely against me, made them treat me poorly. She turned, like, she sent some HVAC people in and told me that I was getting a new HVAC unit. They took my old unit out. This is the middle of winter. It's January. They took my old HVAC unit out. It's completely cold in my house. My daughter is in the house with me. And it's cold. It's like, it's 2 degrees outside. And it got down to like 50 something in the house. It was freezing in there. My feet, my toes were cold. My baby was cold. They took it out. They brought the new unit in the box. They slightly unboxed it. They left out of my apartment, came back in and said, oh no, we came to the wrong apartment. But we can put the old unit back. Oh, this was supposed to go to 1842 or something like that. My building, my apartment number was 1888. And I was like, how do you get 4s and 8s and 2s confused? And they're like, well, it said from 1888 to, and I was like, what? That doesn't even make any sense. None of that made any sense. This is how you know your enemies are not that smart either. I don't know. I know all of that stuff is backfiring on them. It's like, because the stuff that they did was not very smart. It just wasn't smart. It wasn't smart for the 8-batch people that were on her side. It wasn't smart for her, because it's like, this is what happens when you play with corporate money. Because that's what they did. They played with a whole bunch of corporate money. Because it's all on record that them people came to my apartment to do that. It's on record that they came to my apartment 3 times 3 or 4 times that week, because they did something to it. They messed it up just so that it would start losing heat. She had people come in the crawl space. I have an email in my old email where she told me that people would be in my crawl space, and now all of a sudden the day after, my heat stops working properly. Then when I called the first time, they were like, oh, we can have someone out there by 5 o'clock. And I was like, okay. And then they called me 30 minutes later, talk about somebody will be out there in 20 minutes. Okay. They fixed it. Same thing happened the next day. And then they brought me some space heaters, told me, oh, you're getting approved for a new, and they're like, oh, we apologize for the mix up. And I was like, how does that happen? How do you mix up numbers like that? And they're like, oh, we're not really sure what happened. Like, we're really, like, they pretended like they were sorry. Like, these people did a lot, y'all. They did a lot. And on top of that, it's like, I got my family lying on me. I got the people at this job telling lies about me. They were working with the people at my apartment complex. They were working with the people at my daughter's daycare. They had gotten to them people, I think, prior to me even, like, really even being there. Because even my sister Even my sister had called me one day and was like, "What's the name of Mila's daycare?" And she gave me some stupid ass excuse of why she was asking, and I told her the name of it. But also because at the time my sister and my mama were both on my daughter's pickup list. So it was like, well, she does need that information. But looking back at it now, I'm like, damn, like there was no good intentions there. They were actively spreading lies about me to these people, having these people look at me differently and not accepting me. And this is why it is better to be uninformed than it is to be misinformed, because it is very difficult for people to change their mind about you once they already have an idea of who they are told that you are. When they're told that you are a bad person, that, oh, that niceness, that all that's fake, she's not really like that. And so now people are working to see, like, well, where's the drama? Where's that at? Now they want to pull that out of you. And they end up just exposing themselves and telling on themselves. It's sad. It's sad. But the fact that that apartment complex now is all getting a little bit of a facelift lets me know, like, it's backfiring on them, because they were never gonna do that. That was never their intention. And you know, in those few months, like January through March, in those winter months, there were people that were from, I guess, from the corporation, like the corporate office that owns that apartment, that there were some people who came by and they were looking at it and they were surveying it. They were doing a whole bunch of different stuff. And that's when I knew, I was like, shit is not going well for them. And they upped the ante, they really upped the ante. They had somebody move in next to me, mess with my internet all the time. It was crazy. They knew, like, they were watching me, like the few times that I had to leave, like towards the end of that, when I had, like, and really towards the end, because there were a few times I had to leave to go try and get food and like diapers for my baby when I had like a little bit of money left at that time. And like, just, I only had a little bit of money left, just a little bit, wasn't a lot. Little bit of money. And then when I was out of money and I went to a charity and they helped me. They gave me diapers, they gave me some wipes as well, even though I had a ton of wipes, but they gave me diapers, enough to get me through the end of March, before Mila went off with her father. She gave me resources to go get free food. So I did, and I took advantage of those because we needed food in the house. So I was like, I don't care if it's fresh vegetables and all of that, canned chicken and canned tuna and canned beans, staple items in the house. I was fine with that because we ate. Okay? We ate and we were okay. And we like fruit in the house, so. And we had like those chicken packets, like the fully cooked chicken, and I loved those, honestly. I can't find them nowhere. I can only find them at the free food places. But it was great, at least, for the time being. Like, I was just happy to have food in the house at that point, because I had used everything that I had. And I stopped eating for a while just so that my baby could eat. Like, that's how bad things got. And now being in this situation, it makes me really sad, because it's like, after everything that I already had to endure because of the stuff that these people were doing to me, because I didn't have to lose my job the way that I did. I didn't have to, leave that apartment the way that I did, but I had no choice. And I was hoping that with the money that I had from my retirement, that I was going to be able to get some things solidified, that I was going to be able to create a more solid foundation. But that was really difficult when I'm having to move around from town to town and place to place, trying to get away from stuff like God forbid, I couldn't really get a job because I couldn't stay in one place. I couldn't. The staff, I mean, I had full intentions on, getting my life together and rebuilding when I was at the first extended stays. Like, I was like, this place works. I have internet, I have a television. At the time, I had my Roku. So I was like, I have all the shows and stuff that I need. I have a full kitchen. I had a full refrigerator with a whole bunch of food, because the Meyer was right there. I had I had money at that time, so I was like, I could save money by staying here. But then people were greedy because at those extended stay places, if you pay in advance, you get a big discount. But they didn't want me to do that because other people couldn't do that, and they get more money when they charge you weekly, right? And I was trying to pay in advance, and they did not want me to do that. So I ended up having to leave both of the locations because they did it to me at both. I was hoping they wouldn't do it to me at the second one, but that was my mistake. But then I was also being gang stalked. Like at the second one I went to, the people from the apartment complex, they pop up messing with my car. Like something, like I was playing a game on my phone. I don't remember what game I was playing. I was playing a game on my phone. I think I was playing a sorting game on my phone. My phone started getting really, really hot. And I was like, why is my phone so hot? And then I got on YouTube afterwards, and I just started seeing 333, 333, 333. And I was like, something's wrong. And then this was on a Wednesday too, because I was getting ready to, Mila was taking a nap, and it was almost time for her to go back with her dad. And I go and look outside, and I see someone that I know that was an op. Like she was sitting outside waiting outside my window, and I was like, okay. And then I looked down to see where my car was at, and I see people underneath it messing with my car, pretending like they're doing something to the other cars. And basically, like, they were sent there to infiltrate. And then, like, my next door neighbor, when I popped downstairs, because I went downstairs, because as soon as Milo woke up, I was like, we got to go downstairs. And we went downstairs. 3, 2, 1 on this clock over here. As soon as we went downstairs, we went to my car. Then people got quiet. Then they pulled off. So I pulled my car up to the front where most of the other cars were. And then I went back inside. And when we went back inside, my next door neighbor, the one that was next to me when I was at the apartment complex, was at the front desk. And when I say at the front desk, not like he was checking in, like he was behind the desk, like he worked there or something, trying to make me seem like I was crazy by making. So I noticed him, and I just ignored him, and I went back upstairs. And then they all left. Well, actually, they might have waited a little bit, because we went back upstairs for a minute, which is so crazy, because that day when we got in the car, I was like, I really went down there because I had 2 jugs of water that I was trying to bring upstairs. And I was like, I just wanted them to know that I was there. And I was like, I was telling Mila, I put her in the car just so that she wasn't in the street. And I was like, come on, let's go back upstairs. And my baby looked me dead in my eyes, and she was like, she was eating a snack. She said, I want to eat my snack in the car. There was no rhyme or reason why. There was no other reason that was spirit telling her, like, tell mommy no. We can't go. We can't go. We can't leave the car. So I sat in the car with her. I sat and I waited for them to pull off. Waited for them to leave. And then they tried to pull up really, really close next to me, and the parking spot that I parked in after that, in the front of the building, so that I couldn't get Mila in her seat. But I just came on this side, and I got her in this way. Anytime people do that, that's what I do. I put her in the opposite way, because I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and wait, but I'm not gonna hit your car. And then I was like, okay, so they know where I'm at. They are still trying to mess with me. And I was like, why? But it's because they plans fell through, and they still were trying to make it happen. And these people have, and that same neighbor ended up I was at the Home 2 that's next to the Hampton Inn. I was at the Home 2 Suites, which sidebar, the Home 2 suites at Hilton are not suites. This is a scam. And on the website they say that they have a full kitchen. It's not a full kitchen. It's a kitchenette. You have a dishwasher, a full refrigerator, a sink with a garbage disposal. There are no burners in the room. You have to go and request one from the front desk if you want to cook in your room. And they have utensils and stuff, but they don't have like there's no burners in the room. Like, it's not a full kitchen. They be lying. But anyways, he did the same thing there and went to the front desk and pretended like he, and I'm like, what is the purpose of this? They tried to cause an accident. Like, I'm telling y'all, I know some of this shit sound crazy as hell, but this is what I experienced. They've been working with my family, with my ex and his family for a long time now. I don't know what money these people got paid, or I don't know what all this shit is. But I'm just sad right now, and be completely honest, because like I said, I'm not saying that things aren't going to get better, but I'm just sad because, like I said, I've worked so hard, and for things to be like this, for me to be in my car right now with my cat who is sleeping like a baby, I'm glad she's okay. Like, she has food and water and like her litter box in here. Like, she's okay right now, but I don't want her living like this. So I still got to figure some stuff out. I just had to suffer so much. And like I said, I'm not saying that things aren't going to get better eventually, but it's just like they're not good right now. And I'm just really sad about it. I'm sad that it came to this, because at the end of the day, it's like, people were stealing from me. There's money that's owed to me. These people took a lot of my time. These people caused a lot of trauma. And I've been strong through the whole thing. And I'll even say, like, I did things that I didn't even think that I was gonna do. Like, the only reason why in the middle of all that, when I was living in that apartment, that I stopped smoking weed is because I didn't have access to it anymore. I didn't have any more income coming in for a while, so it's like I don't have money for marijuana. And even when I did have a little bit of money, food was more of a priority. That's what I spent the money on, was making sure that Mila had diapers and food, So it's like I stopped smoking because of that. And then I started smoking again, but that was short-lived. I think I only smoked for maybe a little bit over, maybe a month. Hold on.